In this video, we are going to take a look at one of the smaller, what we call rotor heads. So similar size to a pop-up head, but a lot of times why people might want to use one of these instead is if they have enough pressure. It's one thing to be aware of. Pop-ups need less pressure than a rotor head, but two, to make sure that they can get more distance. So these can get a better shot a lot further away. So we're going to take a look at a couple pieces that you'll need, how to adjust them, the nozzles, we'll take it apart and kind of go from there. So let's go ahead and just take this apart first. So this is the cap, or the top part that kind of holds everything down. Here we go. So similar to a pop-up where you've got the outer wall, I guess you could call it. This is where the water is going to help build up. And obviously here, you can notice in the inside here, there is a filter already built in. So unlike the pop-up head, this one already has a filter in there to protect it from extra debris or anything. This is the spot that as it builds up, the water pressure is going to push that and compress that spring. So that's the way that one of these work. Now, something else to be aware of is you can notice here that red piece. So this is your nozzle. So that's where the water is going to come shooting out as it twists, right? Twist a little bit there. So when you're adjusting these, you don't need to take off this whole piece to take it out or do anything like that. I'll show you how to do it without needing to do that. But figured I'd show you easily because this is an easier way to hold it and take a look at it. Let me put this down without pinching my finger. So again, with these, similar to the pop-up, I would not just recommend replacing the outside of one of these or the insides. Just replace the whole head. It'll work better. These are going to be similar. So these are K-Rain, the K-Rain Mini Pro. This is the one that we use a lot of. But Hunter has one that works very similarly, as well as Rainbird has ones that work very similarly as well. So what I'm about to show you are pretty similar, but you're going to need a few more tools to get this done. And here is one of those tools. So as you notice, this is kind of a weird looking screwdriver, has a plus to it. This is K-Rain's tool. Rainbird has one similar. It looks like a green handled screwdriver. And then Hunter, this is definitely weird. They don't even use any sort of a flathead screwdriver piece. They have their own. But you can go and get them if you go to a sprinkler store. They should have some that you can get. If not, they even have it's almost like a Swiss Army knife, but built for sprinklers that has all those pieces. Now, the reason why we have this, so the flathead part, if you notice here, there's a couple pieces, and I'll show you where they all fit. But on the top, we have an arrow pointing in the forward direction. This is where the water is coming out of, so we know where the nozzle is shooting. There is looks like a little screw in there. That's what's going to restrict or get there. There's a screw in there that will stop the flow of water. And let me show you what that looks like. And you'll use that if the water is overshooting. So you can see right in there, there's a screw. The further you push that screw in, the more restriction that water flow is going to have. Obviously, you pull it out, and the screw is also there to help hold the nozzle in, so you don't want to screw it all the way out, or else that nozzle will fly right out. All right. What you noticed here, there's almost like a little plus area. That is why you have this little extra T on this tool. Is you'll push it in and twist, and that is how you open and close. So you don't have to grab and pinch with your fingers or anything, because that hurts a lot. So that's how you're going to lift up those pieces. And something I really like about K-Rain is the way that you can now adjust these heads to make them spray more. So right now, if you notice, it's pretty small. It's a very small section. These you can adjust from, very small degrees to 360, so a full circle. And there's a couple points I want to point out. So back here, there's a plus and a minus with an arrow pointing in either way. That's how you adjust it. So plus means it's going to open up more, meaning it's going to spin more. Minus means it's going to spin around less. All right. But what you notice, I want you to notice as I'm twisting, there's this little arrow here in the middle, a gray one, and there's little numbers. This will actually show you more or less where the direction is that it's going to spray. So you know, so you don't have to keep pulling it up and adjusting and checking. You can adjust it. So let's say we want this to be about 180 degrees, okay? We're going to twist this. And I'm watching that middle arrow. So you're pretty close. I might have overdone it just a little bit. So let me adjust it. There you go. So I'm adjusting. I'm looking here at this front arrow where the nozzle is. This one's telling me it'll shoot all the way back here. So let's try it. Ready? All right, perfect. There we go. See, so you notice now it twists for a full 180. So that's how you go in and adjust those and make those pieces work. Now let's jump into the nozzles, all right? So whenever you buy any of these heads, they're gonna all come with enough of these for every single head. So depending if you buy them separately or in a box. And what these nozzles are based on the amount of water or distance that you want to have. So if on here, it's really hard to see, but up on the top, it'll have a number and then it says GPM, which means gallons per minute. So that's how many gallons. So this one has 1 gallon per minute that will come out. This one's 75% of a gallon, 0.75, 3 gallons, 2 gallons, and then usually these ones in here, this one in here is a 1.5 gallon. Typically, for most residential places, 1.5 is probably enough. You don't really need more than that. But if you're looking at it, obviously, if you want more water coming out, then all you would do, twist this off like this. All right, we've got it. Then what we'll do, put our little screwdriver there on where the nozzle is. We're going to unscrew it some. So let's go ahead and unscrew it a little bit. Now, this one we'll check and make sure, see how far out it is or not. All right. So we're not there yet because you can still see it's holding it just a little bit. Actually looks really good. So then what we'll do is we can use that. There we go. Popped it out. So there you go. You can see the hole. That's where the water's coming out of. All we'll do is we'll push the next one in. Now we want to make sure it sits pretty good. Make sure it's pretty flat. So you can push it in a little bit, and then what we'll do is we'll screw that back on. And this is where you want to make sure that that screw gets in there, or else it won't sit. So that screw should just be sitting there on top of it. Now, if you notice, I didn't push it in enough, so it's starting to push it. So what we'll have to do is go back, push that in a little bit more, and then adjust it. So what we'll do is we'll go back here, unscrew it a little bit. Open it up. Make sure that it's sitting flush, and then tighten it up, and then you're good to go.